Hello, lovely people. Today I'm going to talk about string stretching and how that plays a part in tuning stability. Coca-Cola. I've had too many of them today. So, do a quick demonstration tuning stability. I might end up showing, making a fool of myself. I don't know. I haven't played this guitar or that guitar for several days. Haven't played this guitar since yesterday. Haven't tuned any of them anytime recently. So let's see. But one of the ways you'll find out if you have something like string twist or unstretched strings is you tune your guitar, set it down. Later you come back, pick it up, and some of the strings are out of tune. So let's see about these. After I turn off my standby. A little off. That one's a little off. If you got a couple of strings that are off, don't tune your guitar when you pick it up. Give it a good stretch on all the strings. Try it again. That one's still a little bit off. Not some farther off. So that's off. That one's fixed. Sounds a little low, so it'll be this one. There we go. Not perfect, but it's pretty damn close. If you're playing it, you wouldn't know the difference. Disappointed it wasn't perfect, but let's try this one. Forgot my cable. This one might be a little low on the high E. It's slipping. G again. Oof. Something's a little off in there. That means that these aren't good enough. These two guitars have been properly stretched. Oh, that's in tune, but didn't tune it. These two guitars have some string twist on some of the strings. You can stretch out a string lengthwise, but when you're winding the strings on, it tends to twist the strings, and you end up with a torsional or twisting load. If you got a twist in your strings, then every time it sets, the string's going to tighten up. Then you play it, it'll loosen up. So what happens if you pick up your guitar, it's out of tune, and you tune it, you tuned that string that was only tight because it was twisted. That stretches it out, and then you start playing, which stretches all the strings out a bit. And then suddenly you're out of tune, you have to tune it back where you started. But if you got some twist, you can pull that out temporarily and not tune the guitar, and it'll just keep playing. And then when it sets, it'll tighten up again, but it'll last a session. Not have to retune midway. Keep losing my cord. Did this one last because no tremolo, and I wanted to demonstrate string stretching and not have to worry about. Well, actually, this is primarily a video I was making because somebody that didn't have a tremolo apparently had some instability. Pretty damn good tuning. Anyway. On the tremolo guitars, I've actually had a couple of strings that were really twisted, so I had to take them out, cut off the end and stick them back in to get rid of the twist. So, but this one, miraculously, doesn't seem to have much twist. So, now, I know of two ways to stretch strings. Oh, I should talk about string instability. And, well, when people think of tuning stability, they tend to think of it from the wrong direction. You need to turn that upside down. If it's stable, it's stable. You can't increase stability on something that's stable. So you can't fix any problem you don't have. Like, here's a locking tuner. None of these guitars have locking tuners because I never had the money. I got these a while back to make a guitar for somebody. They're super cheap Chinese ones. But he blew up his house with a meth lab. So I didn't feel like I should make him a guitar anymore. Anyway, the thing about these, some people say they increase tuning stability. Some people say they don't increase tuning stability. But they're both a bit right and a bit wrong. The thing is, you don't increase tuning stability, you decrease sources of instability. So like, this guitar could have a source of instability like if it had a bridge that hung up. It was badly designed for some reason. If its strings weren't stretched, that's another potential source of instability. If its strings are twisted, that's a source of instability. If it's got super bad tuners, that's a source of instability. If it has a badly cut nut that hangs, that's a potential source for tuning instability. We have reasons for instabilities. And to attain a level of stability, we need to remove or substantially decrease instability at these various sources. And what these do is, I mentioned earlier, string twist, when you're winding the strings, they tend to twist. It's kind of random, so you never know what you're going to end up with. Some ways of installing your strings are less likely to twist, some are more likely. But what these do is you put your string through, pull it taut, lock it, and cut that off, and then you just turn it a little bit to bring it up to tune. And there you are. Stretch your strings properly, there's no twist because you don't sit there and wind. So the twist never gets started. So that's the reason why they can decrease instability in some guitars. But if somebody doesn't have that problem, like say they're really good at putting on strings without getting twisted, then they will do nothing. They cannot increase that. They can only decrease if it's fucked up. Anyway, so thing is, strings are the one thing you're always going to have on a guitar. You can have different bridges, you can have different tuners, you can have locking tuners, you can have a locking bridge, or, well, strings locked in bridge, but locking nut, or, you know, different kinds of nuts. You have all these different things, different tailpiece. Mine go through the wood. But you're always going to have strings. So this is your primary source of instability. If you don't correct the instability that's in the string, you might fix this, and fix that, and fix that, and fix that, and never have an improvement because you never fix the strings. If you have 5 sources of instability, you can fix 3 of those, and who's to say which thing worked and which didn't because you're still unstable. So, how do we decrease instability here? For one, if we can, have locking tuners, so you don't have to deal with the twist. The other is stretching your strings. I have a wonderful little tool here somewhere that I'll bring out in a minute. Now, for 30 some years, what I did, because I use tremolos mostly, everybody pretty much knows you need to stretch the strings on a tremolo, but I never really thought about how you need to do it on a standard guitar too. So, I'm not exactly sure this is how the one guy was doing it. He said something like, if I can get this down far enough, I think he said he was, you know, when he installed a string, he'd stretch it at the 12th, tune it up, stretch, tune until it seemed stable. Well, if you think about how a string works on here, when you say bend here, say the nut was right here because you can see that in the picture, the real nut's down there. If I bend here, where's the string being stretched the most? Answer is wherever the string is being pulled around or over something. So it's being stretched here, here, and here. So now I've stretched the string in 3 places. That's not going to fully stretch your strings. You're still going to have a lot of unstable tension that hasn't been pulled out. The reason I did these guitars in the beginning was to show that if you've stretched your strings, you put your guitar down, it should basically be in tune for however long. I did an extended tuning stability test, and after the first week I gave up because there was nothing to report. But because they weren't going out of tune. I gave them a stretch, they were fine. After, you know, very occasionally I might have to just barely touch a tuner. I think in over 2.5 months, I think I touched tuners on various ones just a hair, maybe 3 to 5 times per guitar. That was from June 16th is when it started. The only reason I ended the experiment was this guitar. The E string I had to keep, like every couple of weeks I'd have to tune it up a little bit, which meant it was slipping. It wasn't tuning unstable, string was slipping. And so eventually I tuned that up so many times that it grounded out. So I was going to have to unlock the nut to be able to loosen out some string and tighten up some string and put that back. And I figured once I touch the nut, the tuning stability experiment is over. But I haven't had to tune them any more since then. I just stopped keeping any track of it. Anyway, so yeah, the way I originally learned to stretch strings was to get like that. So that way you could see I'm putting tension here, here, maybe some up here and here, but we're not too worried about that because all that we're doing is going to keep stretching that area. But so like you go along, then you check it. Actually got some out. There. Very little. So the thing is, you're trying to get, forced added tension the entire length of the string. You want to pull every bit of it out. Not just, if you pull the string, you're really only stretching here and here. You're not substantially increasing the tension here. It's not focused. So I watched a video by one of Eddie Van Halen's guitar techs, and well, whatever you may think of Eddie Van Halen, everybody should probably admit that, or would probably admit that his techs need to know what they're doing. So yeah, anyway, he talked about stringing strings on a tremolo guitar. And if you happen to have a tremolo guitar, he had two tools he demonstrated that he recommended. And I'm going to recommend them too. Because I tried them. And, well, for a Floyd user, this is like a life-changing experience. Because, for one, this tool, I don't make any money, by the way. I'm not sponsored by anybody. That'd be crazy. If let's have a guitar demonstration. Got these Allen screws here. Well, when you tighten it up, hey, Joy Boy, what a twist, yeah. When you tighten it up and you get it tight enough, this will start to flex. You don't turn it anymore. That's as far as you need to go. It's tight. So no more stripping out shit. Stripping out is over. If it isn't tight enough for some reason, then you probably got a mechanical problem, like a groove nut or something. So yeah, what's it called? Bondhus. They actually give you two in a pack. I ordered 2 and got 4. They sent me an extra pair for free, accidentally probably. The other thing I'm going to recommend is a stretcher. This one's called a stretcher, and that's the one he was using, so that's the one I ordered. There's probably Temu versions that are inferior plastic. I don't know. This is apparently good enough that you can keep using it. I've kept using mine for quite a while and not damaged it. So, I can only say that I like this one, and this one's good. Any other? Let the buyer beware. So, this is basically doing the same thing I do with my fingers, except you can move it. So instead of moving it a little, you can just do it all down the string at once. This has already been stretched before, but you hear that? Oop, went a little too far. Now, something, doing this 3 or 4 times, however many times, till you feel good about yourself on each string is going to be enough for most playing. Obviously, I did it a few times, 3, whatever, on June 16th. And I haven't done it again since then, but apparently there was still some in there. I must not have done it as much as it could be done, but then again, that string was in tune when I picked it up. It's always in tune, so it's apparently enough. Now, if you've got a bridge where you've got a length of string past the bridge, everything we've done is from this point forward. We haven't done any stretching here, so this is not stretched. But, well, especially since I have a roller nut, that can kind of move. Stretch that a bit too. Now I don't have a reference. Probably stretched on both. It's barely off. We'll find out. Yeah. I'm gonna have to tune the whole thing now because I did them all at once. So I can't tell. Okay, those two were high, and I stretched them, and they went to normal. So let me just give that a quick stretch again. Back in tune. I mean, it's tuned. They're both registering as in tune, but the E is just a little like a cent over, so it's getting a little bit of a harmonic warble there. It keeps quickly tightening, so I can stretch it, but then it's twisted. So now let's look at the other end. See what we have up here. These strings have been on this guitar so long, I've repaired 2 of them and restrung it. 2 that broke. I looked up Sources of Tuning Instability on guitars earlier today, and they're like, old strings. I got a guitar over there that's got strings that are 10 years old. It's pretty damn stable. These are at least 2. So, anything past here, if we stretch these all the way up to this point, we still haven't stretched past there. So, let's lock it in. And it's too tight for me to get it over that. So, I'm just going to rub against it here. Upper strings might be able to get it. We'll see. Alright. Let's do it too. Keep in mind, I did stretch these all back in June. That's a little off. What am I doing wrong? That was a little off. Also, I checked the tuning when it was flat. It was fine when it was flat, but not now. And when you're doing finish work on a setup and stuff, you need to do it, most of it, your checks in playing position, because it makes a difference. Whether it's laying down, if you're setting on this, which puts more stress on the neck, or up in this position, you'll get a different tuning. So, yeah, laying down, this was high. That could go up just a tiny fraction. It's in tune according to that. Harmonically, it's warbling a little. But I fully expect to pick this guitar up tomorrow and have it be like 98% in tune. And if I give it a stretch, it should go back in tune. What I do is I just get the Jimi Hendrix chord there, stretch it a bunch both ways. That gets the inner strings stretched, get the top ones, bottom ones up, top ones down, and then play. You know, when you pick up your guitar, do that for a quick stretch, then play. You only do the big stretch usually when you put on your strings, or if you have a string that's staying unstable. Like, I have a lot of issues with G. In theory, I could probably intonate the G to be just a little bit off, and apparently that'll make it easier to be in tune there, but or at least to keep it from sounding audibly out of tune. String is all twisted up. I don't have a memory bar. Oh well. But, yeah. Anyway, you can look up other people's ways of stretching strings or whatever. I have not found a better or more consistent way than this, because you know you have touched every bit of the string going up and down. I don't know, I think this was 12 or 16 bucks, and it has saved God knows how much stretching and retuning time since I bought it. Guitar's not out of tune, I am. Anyway, I think that's about all I got to say today, so talk at y'all later and do our usual outro. Roll pick toss. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the stream, but let it